Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to the K-pop World Channel. Today, we're diving into something different. Not just an announcement, not merely a win, but a moment that quietly shook the global stage. Visuals, a word that often feels light on the tongue. But that night, under the blinding lights and relentless flashes of cameras, visual turned into the most complicated dilemma in the history of the world's most handsome artist ceremony. And at the heart of this storm, Wang Yibo, Xiao Zhan, two stars who didn't just shine. They divided the world into two unexplainable forces. Two types of beauty, too powerful to compare, and too emotional to choose between. The 2025 Most Handsome Artist Ceremony was supposed to go as planned. Nominees were set, scoring systems were in place, an international jury was ready. But everything changed when these two actors from China stood side by side on stage. One in a black suit, eyes sharp and silent, as if carved from mystery. The other, calm and radiant, offering a smile that didn't ask for attention but still captured every heart. In that instant, silence took over the jury panel, and every structured plan fell apart. A judge from South Korea paused mid-writing. His eyes locked onto the big screen as Wang Yibo walked forward. Not too fast, not too slow, just enough to make you feel his presence. Another judge from the UK almost dropped her pen when the camera zoomed in on Xiao Zhan's eyes. He said nothing, but in that silence was a story too deep for words. The kind of gaze that spoke of storms endured and emotion survived. It quickly became clear. This night wasn't about jawlines or bone structure. The judges weren't just evaluating looks. They were watching for expression, aura, the unspoken presence that wrapped itself around the room. And that was what threw everything into confusion. The longer they watched, the harder it became. Wang Yibo exuded a cold charm, a quiet, magnetic pull that made you want to know more, even though he kept his distance. Xiao Zhan, on the other hand, offered a warmth that slipped under your skin. He didn't chase the spotlight, yet somehow he became the center of it. Behind the scenes, rumors started to swirl. Some staff whispered that the jury held a closed-door meeting that lasted nearly an hour. They reviewed footage again and again, analyzing every expression, every movement, even the sound of their footsteps across the stage. Because this wasn't just about who looked better. This was about who moved them more. But none of the judges could bring themselves to choose. So try to go by audience reaction, but even that was split. In the front row, Wang Yibo's fans waved banners that read, "Yibo, you're the universe." Not far from them, a Xiao Zhan fan quietly cried, hugging her lightstick and whispering, "He doesn't even try." And still, he breaks me. The night ended without a single winner. In a shocking moment, both names were announced at once. The most handsome artist of 2025 is Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. The crowd erupted into cheers. But if you looked closely, you'd see some judges sighing in quiet relief, as if a heavy weight had finally been lifted. Naturally, the decision stirred the media. Some headlines questioned, was this a cop-out? Others asked, was the jury pressured by fandoms? But then, an exclusive leaked interview with a French judge changed everything. He said softly, "I've judged more than 300 faces over the past 10 years. But that night, I was watching two living paintings. You can't choose between them. Each told a different story. Both equally beautiful. Both equally devastating." The public finally understood. This wasn't about who stood out more. It was about how two visuals could stand side by side. Not in competition, but in harmony. So how did Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan respond? They didn't say much. Wang Yibo placed a hand over his chest, nodded toward Xiao Zhan, and bowed quietly. Xiao Zhan returned a soft smile, walked toward the judges, and bowed in respect. No dramatic celebration, no grand gestures, just two men who understood that the world had just witnessed something irreplaceable. A night when visuals weren't just visuals. They became emotion, and emotion can't be measured. In the days that followed, fans poured out their thoughts. One wrote, "I thought I wanted Yibo to win, but when I saw Xiao Zhan standing next to him, I realized I wanted them to win together. I didn't want either of them to feel left behind. Another said, "This isn't about competition. It's about how two hearts can share a stage without destroying each other." A fan from Brazil posted, "Watching them together on that stage felt like looking at two sides of the moon. One shines brightly, the other glows in silence. But both light up the same sky." Fan edits flooded the internet. Artwork, tribute videos, and even open letters poured in. The two actors became a symbol, not of rivalry, but of balance, depth, and silent connection in a world that often forgets how to pause and feel. Now, as time passes, people no longer ask, "Who's more handsome?" They ask instead, "Why did it take us this long to realize they're both gifts given to us at the same time?" And that's what made that night unforgettable. Not because one won and the other didn't, but because two souls chose to stand together. And for a moment, the world stopped caring about who was better. All they saw were two men who made everyone feel something. If you were on the jury that night, could you have chosen? Or would you have let both of them win? Knowing that not all beauty is meant to be ranked. Some beauty is meant to be accepted and celebrated in silence. Thank you for watching till the end, drama lovers. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who touched your heart more that night? And if there's ever an update about their new project, a behind-the-scenes story, or another emotional moment that brings them together again, we'll be the first to bring it to you. See you next time, only on K-Pop World.